Hey, welcome to the Renaissance festivities! Festival. Boy, this thing is hot. I gotta get me a medieval slushy or something, you know what I'm saying?
Should you go to art school? I get that question a lot from um, preteen, teenagers, and usually people at shows who ask me that are parents who ask me either where I studied or where their kids should go if they want to do comics and learn to draw and things like that. The answer is maybe. Uh, I guess it depends on a few things. What do you want to do? What are your goals? Here's the thing. I know if you're doing comics um, or animation, if you're doing animation, you need to learn to animate, and that's a different field than mine. So I would assume that you need to go to some program and at least learn how to animate. Um, Unless you already have taught yourself how to animate and you're just a good self-study type person. But for drawing, here's the thing that I've noticed. There's a couple, I know several people that have been to art school, and I've met a ton of people from art school. And specifically in comics, there's SCAD in Savannah that actually has a sequential art program. There's the Kubert School, probably some other ones around. And I've seen people come out of both of those and know some. Actually, Chris. I'll ask Chris when he gets here today. Chris went to SCAD. But I've seen people come out of both, like, for example, the Kubert School and SCAD that are fantastic. I've seen people's work out of both of them that were not fantastic at all. And you think, what, you went to school? And I think ultimately the first thing is how curious are you and how hard do you study and work on your own to begin with? Because going to school, it's not like they're going to force the information into you through a machine and you don't have to do the work, right? So if you have the aptitude for it and the desire to study and push through the discomfort of learning something, learning to draw, and you're looking at things, those type of people tend to surpass other people even if they don't go to school. A lot of people I know in comics don't have art degrees, and they're some of the best artists I know did not go to art school, but they're constantly learning and they're constantly looking at art and they're constantly trying to get better. I did not go to art school. Now I have taken I've done figure drawing classes and things like that, but as an adult and on my own just to help myself try to get better. Had I gone to an art program that was really trying to teach me, well, at 18, I don't know if I was ready for that personally. I did not really buckle down and try to start learning anatomy and work on my perspective and all this stuff till I was in my 20s. And so I've always felt like I was 10 years behind of where I should have been. I should have been working on it because I always drew, but I was like the lazy. I didn't want to put the work into it. I was like the lazy doodler who really loved looking at art and wanted to be good, but had not reached that stage of maturity until later to actually put the work in it to start to get better. So a lot of my education has been trial and error, and it does work. But that's just me. That's just my personality. So for example, the intro to this little stupid medieval dude intro. If you saw my warm-up drawing from yesterday, which I think is now on my YouTube channel listed as how to draw a character in Manga Studio, the whole point of me doing that intro, for example, was because I wanted to learn to use the puppet tool in Adobe After Effects. So I figured out I could because Manga Studio lets you the background can be transparent, so the only thing that shows up is what you draw. So I figured I could take this and kind of chop up his arms and legs and use those. So that whole thing was just figuring that out and how it warps and stuff, and then doing something stupid to have an intro. that seems like it's a lot of times how I've learned everything is just being curious and playing with it and failing and doing something crappy, and then you get a little better, a little better, a little better. So art school is necessary if you're going to teach. However, if you want to be a teacher, they like you to have degrees and things. So if that's part of your goal, and part of your goal is I want to get better at art, but I also want to teach art, then you need to go to art school. If you want to do comics and you go to an art program that's like a fine art program, or at a university or somewhere, they're probably not going to be great with you doing comics because it's considered a low form of art. And there are programs out there that don't even like realistic painting and stuff because just the state of art. That's a whole nother vlog. So should you go to art school? Again, maybe. It depends on what you want to do with it. You don't need art school to become a really good artist and get work. If you're diligent enough to study, and with the internet, and I mean, come on, you have access to just about everything any program could teach you. The question is being honest with yourself. Are you honest with yourself to know where your weaknesses are and what you need to improve on? And in comics, a good way to do that is to go to conventions, show your stuff to an editor, show it to other artists, and kind of get the consensus of what they say you need to work on. And then don't be offended. Go back and work on it. That's how you get better. So Chris is going to be here in a little bit. I'm going to ask him what his experience was. He went to SCAD. So
Okay.
I asked Chris if someone asked him, should I go to art school, what he would say. He's still formulating a response. So Chris's answer so far is,
If you're fast, and you can produce faster than me, yeah, you can make a good living out of it, and until you pay your student loans off.
so if you're comfortable with debt,
If you're highly creative, and you're very meticulous, and you really don't, because you're not gonna make a buck.
but I make a buck.
Oh, adorable.
Get to work, Chris, and find something to watch today. So there's one movie we have vetoed, and that's the Star Wars Holiday Special, because even the riff tracks could not save it. Chris, did I ever tell you about the time that I was at a convention and there was you remember those guys that used to sell videos, like bootleg videos?
Oh yeah, they got run off.
So before they all got arrested, they used to sell bootleg videos of movies. And a lot of them were obscure movies or 80s cartoons and things. So on their TV, they had on repeat for 3 days, huge segments of the Star Wars Holiday Special.
There's a lot. There's like over an hour.
Well, there was a lot, but I think the entire Wookiee family scene I had to endure over, and with a little weird dancing hologram thing. Oh, that's so
If you're
bad.
not watching it, you're like, your back's turned. It's like.
I've seen it. I saw it the whole weekend. I'm no stranger to Itchy and the little kid. What was it? The dad's name was Itchy, wasn't it? Itchy? Really, George Lucas? Really? It was a sign of things to come.
It's canon.
It is canon. I have no idea what Chris just found. What's it called?
Possibly in Michigan.
Michigan. Possibly in Michigan from 1983. It's an excerpt.
Crazy Sister Kate. Oh, do you think so? Yeah, I do. It smells so good.
Are they are they singing or are they saying lines?
They're talking sing-songy.
Oh.
Eat it? Oh no.
Sweet Moses, it's a musical.
I don't know, Brian. Something's wrong here. Something's wrong.
This is on you. This is all you. 100% culpability, Chris. I like the Casio keyboard. Isn't this about cannibals or something?
A cannibal was mentioned.
All right, so we're done with that other nonsense. Werewolves on Wheels looks promising, from 1971. We'll see where this what What rabbit hole this leads us down? What was the name of this again? Werewolves?
Werewolves on Wheels.
Werewolves on Wheels. I'd already forgotten what it was called.
We could watch.
No, we're committed.
The devil was once the most favored of the host of angels.
Is this the same movie?
But
Huh?
pride
Oh. No, we're seeing this through to the end. Playing for keeps here, Chris. This is not a game. This bad movie is a serious business. I actually don't know if we're gonna make it through this one. We're gonna go ahead and stop that one because after how long did we watch? 10 minutes. We realized we'd seen it before.
10 minutes of credits. This was all credits.
Yeah, it sounded well. Once it started going, there was a scene at the end that I started wondering if this was that movie, but I don't remember that beginning at all.
We're going.
Wow.
We're going.
Which one is this now? What are we doing now?
once the most
Why don't you heard us?
What are we doing now? What's first?
Gargoyles.
Gargoyles,
The devil
72.
was
1972.
once the most favored of the host, but pride welled in his breast. He
Chick
thought it
track.
unseemly for him to
So Jack Chick Track, the movie
his band of followers
by
like
Michael
one
Bay.
sin of pride.
Michael Bay's Jack Chick.
And were banished to the outermost depths of hell, never to know the presence of the Lord, or look on heaven again. Smarting
We'll be passing out your syllabus now
full of them,
for your
the devil
theology.
cried out from the depths,
Yeah,
"It
there's
is
the-
better to rule in hell than serve in heaven."
That's not in the
devil
Bible.
proclaimed what was lost in
Obligatory,
heaven would be gained